Hello, scrappy friends. Welcome to Workshop Wednesday. My name is Diane Gutierrez, and I am a Creative Memories Advisor located in California. We're going to work with Berry Harvest. I'm going to show you our second layout using this collection. So let me go ahead and switch over my screen. We're going to work on my next two pages in my 2025 album. I'm not going in chronological order, but I want to continue using Berry Harvest to document when we went to a family outing to the strawberry patch. If you watched a couple weeks ago, I kind of focused that one mainly on this little cuteness right here, my granddaughter. But today I have a few of other photos that I want to highlight as well. I'm going to bring in the yellow striped paper again. I love this one. This one is so perfect for the day we went strawberry picking because of the beautiful strawberries on the other side. And I'll be bringing in some of this blue dots paper. You see it kind of has like a little distressing on it, which I think is great for outdoor photos in general. I'll be building on white cardstock today, and I have been loving using Kelly Green with this collection. I really think it pops out the leaves and the nature that's in this collection. It's not one of the coordinating colors that Creative Memories recommended, but I think it's worth adding to it. And we'll be, of course, bringing in the cranberry. I need to do some paper tearing. The way I use this tool is I just line it up on the paper. It actually works so great. It's very sturdy. Give it a diagonal cut. And I want to use the measurements on the side here to help me with my cutting. So this would be the same if you just want to paper tear it. You don't need this fancy tool to do this. This one's going to give us, I love this edge right here. It's just the perfect paper tearing side. And I think it would represent more how I would tear it normally. This one's a little bit fancy, not what I'm looking for today, but it's equally as nice. So I'm going to come down here about, let's see, 1, 2, 2.5, somewhere around 2.5, the 2.5 inch mark, and I'm going to turn the paper tearing tool this direction and come up to about 1 inch. I need 2 cuts. I'll need 1 for each side, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that with only this 1 cut of the tearing tool. Okay, so what I do is I like to turn my board so it's kind of straight out in front of me, so I can grab the top edge, and then I'm kind of holding down firmly on the tool, grab that first corner and kind of, or that first edge, and give it a pull, and then it should come up pretty nicely. Here we go. See how easy that makes it? And it still gives us a nice rough cut. I want to have a piece up here in this corner, and then I want another piece over here in the other corner. If I wanted to come up to this corner, then I probably would want the narrow edge here and then kind of swell out. So I would have to turn the paper and do my diagonal cut this way. Okay, but I want this piece down here, so it makes it a lot easier for me to get this piece cut, because now I could just bring in my trimmer. And this is the edge I want at about 2.5 is what we did on the other side. So I'm going to put that there, and then it's just over 1 inch down here. I think that's going to be okay. And then I can drop this right down here on the bottom. And now I'm going to bring in that same piece, because now I'm going to flip it over, use the reverse side, and do some more tearing. My idea is to tuck it underneath this yellow striped paper. Okay, so let's bring that back in. So I'm going to do about 1 inch for this one. So I'm going to come right up here to the inch mark. This time I don't have to go at a diagonal. You can so that it avoids having it popping out at either of the edges, but I think this is going to work out just fine. Grab that corner again and give it a little pull. I'm holding firm, pressing firm onto that tearing tool. It actually rips very easily. It's very cute. Kind of gives you that look down there. It's rough. And we're going to tuck that right under. You can slide down as much as you would like. Now I'm going to slice off this edge at 1 inch and tuck it right in here. Again, we just have a little bit of those strawberries peeking out. Now we're ready to do the same thing with the blue dot paper. I'm going to do another inch is what I'm going to do here. We're going to slightly tuck it under the strawberry. We didn't apply too much adhesive, so we can kind of pull that up a little bit and tuck it in. There we go. And again, I'm just going to cut this right off at 1 inch. Do the same thing. Tuck it in right here. Bring in that color. And I'm going to cut 2 large photo mats. So my idea is, these are all vertical photos today, and I am going to put 2 on one side, 3 on the other. Okay, so one is not a strawberry. I think it's okay. We were picking blackberries that day as well, but I just loved her little hand on my daughter's hand like that. So and I'm not going to have another layout to put this on, so it's going to go on here. So this is my idea: 2 on one side, 3 on the other, and so I'm going to put a green mat over here on both sides, a longer one here and a shorter one on the other side. So for the left hand side, I don't need quite a 6-inch piece. I need like 5 3/4. My photos are 3.5 by 5.5, and then 5 3/4 by 7.5. This one's going to be 6. I use this cut all the time, so if you're familiar with my cutting, I'd use a 6 by 11, sometimes 11.5, because it houses photos very nicely. I'm going to do 11.5. Because my idea over here is to take my now 6 by 11.5 inch block and tuck it under my paper torn pieces. It was just a little bit, there we go. And I'm just eyeballing it so that the bottom corner of the photo mat is tucked in, and then I stopped and I'm just eyeballing it. It's about 1/4 of an inch on both sides. I like that. And then line these up. I'll put her hand maybe the center, and I'm just going to space these out so that I can see a little bit of green coming through underneath each one. So this way I brought the green in to both sides. This rest of this paper I would like to bring in. So I'm going to cut it right in half at 6 inches, and I'm going to flip one over. And this is one way how I like to elevate up my layouts, is I always go through and try, where can I bring in the photo mats, and then where can I bring in some layers, some paper layers. So this is what I'm going to do on this layout. I'm going to bring in just the leftover paper I have to carry on that theme of the strawberry patch, and the yellow is going to help me kind of tone that down just a little bit. So I still have some strawberries. It's very clear now with my paper, and I've used a lot of my icon paper, and so I love it. But I don't want it taking over. You know, the strawberries give me that mood and that feeling of being back in the strawberry patch, but I don't want it to necessarily take over. And then I'm going to lay this one, this photo block somewhere around here. I'm going to come back in and embellish right here. Actually, I kind of like this look right there. Pretty much the layout. I'm going to now bring in, let's see, I need a title and a journaling area. So I'm going to bring this one in as my title. I'm going to trim that down. I mean, I don't have room for the whole card. I like the yellow stripe. I'm going to stop right there. Let's start with the title. It's too big, so I need to cut it. And I want this section here because, again, it's going to bring in the strawberry fields, but I don't need the top and the bottom. So I'm going to bring back in that tearing tool. Make it all seem like it's cohesive. This part's going to tuck in underneath my photo block, so I don't need to tear that one. I can, but I don't need to. But I'm going to use the same edge, and I'm going to come down pretty close. I'm going to lose 2 flowers. That's okay. I'm going to come pretty close to the top of where the little quote begins and do the same thing. I'm pressing down pretty hard. This is a little thicker piece of paper, so it's going to get me I have to give it a little bit more of a tug to get it going, and then I'm going to just pull up. It still rips very nicely. So now I kind of have that same look going on that I have on the paper. I like that. And I'm going to save this because this paper matches our collection perfectly, and actually that's what I want to show you with mason jar punch. This one I'm just going to trim down, but if you want to keep that scrap for the collection, it doesn't have a lot of blue paper, so maybe you want to save it, maybe you don't you don't care either way. I'm just gonna take off that little piece and I'm gonna tuck it right in here. I'm gonna keep it kind of centered for now. And I love the little saying, life is short, make it sweet. Journaling box, I want to use this one here. It's going to bring in my yellow. Okay, with this one, and it has red, so that's perfect. This one we can either go horizontal or vertical. I think what I'll do is go horizontally. I kind of want these to be different heights up here. So I think I'm going to do something like this. I won't adhere these quite yet. Before I get too much further along here, I do want to bring in my shimmer pen. I do feel like it still has a lot of white showing through, and I'm okay with that, but I just want to give it a little bit of a splash with some dots around the edge. So I'm going to move that, and I just want to kind of get in here and around and then up here. So I'm going to take those off too before I get too much further. Just going to grab a little piece of wax paper. I'm going to bring in something to cover up my photos in case I get a little crazy with the shimmer pen. So I'm going to do some splattering here. So some scrap that I just keep to the side there. And then what I'm going to do is actually, let's put this aside. I'm going to squeeze out a little. I've done this before. And I hope that you have too, because I love using these shimmer pens this way. I squeeze out a little bit. Okay, well, let's just put a little. There it goes. Okay. So I like to put a little puddle right there and then dip my brush back in it. I use my multi-purpose tool to kind of tap around. Try and make it somewhat, you know, not like it's so planned, and it's just going to give me a little something up there. Okay, so I'm going to dip and same thing, tap. Come right up here, get in there. Let me get a little more. Okay, let me grab a wipey. There's that. Well, let me slide that aside. Let it kind of dry a little bit, even though it doesn't take much time. I want to show you real quick what I'm going to do with these. If I had these scraps left over, not sure this one will fit, but we're going to find out. I would bring in my mason jar punch. I think it's small enough on the back here that we can slide this one in and punch it out. So I would just use these for my punches, but I thought the mason jar comes with, or came out with this collection, so I thought it would be really cute. So that's why I would save these, and I would move this into a future layout. So keep their scraps, punch with them, especially on the mat cards. I'm either trimming out the title, a lot of times I'm trimming out the title and using that as a photo mat, or I'm saving them for punch out. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. Let's do a little bit of decorating. So I have the doily. This came with red, yellow, tan, I believe, or beige. I like the yellow one, but I think I would do red or yellow on this layout. But I think I have a lot of red going on with my strawberries, and I want to come up here. So I'm between this whole line here, I'm gonna move everything around and kind of center it. Tuck in a little bit my title and do something like that. I think I already used the strawberries on a different layout, but I had this one left. It's raspberries. Like, we were picking blackberries, but I thought nobody's going to really tell too much. I kind of like that. I'm going to put it up here somewhere, maybe off to the side. Scoot my journaling box out so I have a little bit more room to write. There we go. Let's see our little jams if we want to. Maybe we'll put that over there. Let's grab our sticker sheet. I like this one. Summer vibes. This was the summer when we went. So I think I will tuck this one in up here. So I'm just making like a whole shelf up here. And it's going to flow really nicely with what's already here on my title card. And then it'll end with my journaling right there. Maybe we'll come back in with some flower for some finishing touches. I'm going to hang on to that for now. I think that's looking pretty good. I'm going to come to this side and do a little embellishing over here and bring in some more punches. So for this side, I'm going to bring in citrus slice and the cranberry. I'm not going to need a whole row, but I'm going to punch a whole row. And let's see, I don't need that much. I'm going to tuck it under, so I really don't need a lot. So let's go even 3/4 of an inch. I think that'll be great. Okay, I'm gonna add this underneath the yellow. Carry that red all the way through from the top down to the bottom. Trying to see if I can cut it without cutting one of the circles. And maybe I'll need to just make it look like a little shelf. Even it out so it looks like it's pretty even. I'd rather have the whole circles and it popping out just a little bit on the sides. Let's see, I need to bring this back in. Okay, see, one of them is actually gonna get covered up with my photos. So that helped me. I'm gonna put it, see if I like this. Won't be able to tell with my photos there. So pictures are straight, papers are on the diagonal. There we go. Now it's tag time. So I keep talking about how I love Kelly green with this collection, but I also do like avocado green. Gosh, I think on some other layouts I even brought in blue. Yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of colors that can go with this. Okay, so I'm gonna do one of each. And I don't need to quite be that big. We're gonna tuck them under, but that's okay. First one, I'm gonna bring in, kind of tucking it behind the yellow. Yeah, I'm gonna trim this one down. It's too big for me. It's 4.5 right now. I just need a little bit coming out the top. I'm gonna go all the way down to 2.5. Okay, and I'm gonna tuck the other one to the side. Probably some, I don't want it poking out the side. I know these are like small details, but it's what I like. And I'm just gonna make it look like it's all tucked in there. I think that's good. I'm going to bring in a few little embellishments. I have this one. Let me grab my sticker sheet again. I know I like this one. So I want to put this one down here, I think, somewhere. Maybe something like this. Kind of at the edge of my little border there. Very good. Is cute. And let's get in one more strawberry. This is why I didn't bring in Kelly green for the tag, because that way it kind of stands out. I do need red up here, so I'm thinking of overlapping it between both of those. Bring these strawberries in and we can either tuck them. I like them hanging over so I could see those leaves. Actually, this one I think I'm gonna pop up on a little bit of foam. Maybe I need to do a little cluster of strawberries so they're all kind of together. I like that. I'm gonna keep that just like that. I like it and it's super cute. Well, let's look at finishing touches. We have some stickers. Some flowers. Those are the tiniest ones that we have. We also have the enamels that came with this collection. We have the flowers as well on these. These are cute. I'm wondering if they're going to show because they're a little clear. Oh, it might show up on the blue. Oh, it looks okay. I definitely now want to bring a flower when I just realized my mat card over here has some flowers. So let's see. It's a small little detail. Let's see if we like that or maybe a sticker instead. These are tiny, tiny, or both. This one out. I'll save that for another layout. And I'm gonna come back in with a couple of flower stickers. I think I'll come over here as well. I don't think I need any up here because those are already there. Would be super cute. We can pop a couple up onto some foam. I don't think I'm gonna do that, but I just thought that would be super cute. I think that's it. I think I'm gonna bring in some twine and then call this one. So I'm just taking a little bit of twine here. Don't need a lot. Using brown. Kind of gives that look and feel of the farm that we were on. Bringing it through my tag. I loop it around in half. I start with it in half and then I loop it around and then pull the little tails through. But I kind of give it a little tug. I don't have a lot of adhesive on here. And then what I like to do is come back through and snip off these so that they're uneven. And I can either go longer here, maybe I will. Okay, so there's not a lot of difference. You could just see that they are not the same. You have to be kind of careful with pulling it through the pattern paper because you could rip it. So you have to give it a gentle little tug. Pull it through first, and then here's where you have to be gentle when you're kind of giving it that last little bit, okay? Ask me how I know. I've done that several times. And then a little snip here, a little snip there. Okay. I feel like I need foam over here too. So I'm gonna put that one on foam. Something popping up so that it kind of catches your eye. And I'll put it on top. There we go. I have my whole row up there. And that is my layout. Let me come on back. Okay, well, thank you for joining me for this week's Workshop Wednesday as I finish up my 2-page spread for our trip to the strawberry patch. Who knew a strawberry patch trip was going to take 4 pages, but it does in my album because I want, I explained this a couple weeks ago. It was our first trip taking our granddaughter, so very special time. So it deserves its attention in my album. Until then, take care, everybody, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.